We have enough fuel, so wouldn't worry about it. Would have... Oof. My voice is starting to go. How much time do I have? 2 more hours? I think I will be able to hold on for 2 more hours. Yeah. Let's go to Flotsam. It's hard to tell where Flotsam ends and the ship's parked and at its many docking bridges begin. The Serafin docks with the station realize that the rig now looks like just another piece of accumulated technology. One more bit of driftwood added to the raft. Love this place. Griffin smiles as he shuts down the engines. You never know what you'll find. You've been here before? Yeah, back when I first came to the belt, the crew I signed on with used to run salvage jobs out of here. Fun place to spend your wages. Sibley's eyeing the station with what looks like both horror and fascination. You see the seals? They point out some twisted assemblages of shipparts. Full cowboy belts. They can pop at any moment. Serafin waves away their concern. Oh, that's just the outer layer. I heard there's 6 or 7 in all, so if one fails, it's no problem. Rushes and turns to... We've got to taste some of the stuff they grow on in old Takahi. He kisses his fingers. That's the good shit. Oh, great. Besides, so many layers of redundancy and fallbacks that you have no hope of isolating a leak and fixing it. Wrap on the wall of the rig. Sounds like a ship, I know. Serafin joins in, the two of you shoulder to shoulder. She got you here, didn't she? He shrugs that Bliss. No sense of gratitude. I was joking. Bliss looks a little hurt and drifts out of the cockpit, shaking their head. They go to follow, but Serafin puts a hand on your shoulder. Sleeper. Looks suddenly serious. Remember what I said about getting checked out? There are artificers all over this place. I'll take a bit of searching, but we need to know what's going on with you. Meets your eye. Why we're here? Good. Serafin nods. Let me know what they say. I'm gonna go see if any of my old haunts are still open. Drifts out of the cockpit with a mock salute. Catch you later. You're left alone in the cockpit with a view of Flotsam's chaotic structure. You look over the multicolored plating. It does, you admit, have a certain charm. Ooh. Let's see what we can get here. And so it's basically just the engineering bit. Flotsam's made from maybe hundreds of ships, gathered and modified over time. The engineer might be able to identify them. I should have used the raw scrap, or I should have done the raw scrap to process scrap thing. A bit later. Okay, Flotsam oof, it's brutal. Down on 75%. Boo. I mean, just on all in energy. Yeah. Recovery contract. Narrow escape barman Bolton has a tip about the recovery contract for a few chits. He'll give you the coordinates. Scrap components, okay. And first tanker. Yeah, it's fuel only. Don't they use the ones? Probably don't. Let's live on it. Sleep on it. I don't have access to supplies either, so... Supplies... we're unsuccessful obtaining those. Come on. Go. Come on, positive. Come on, positive. Okay, this is the supply spot. go to encounter here. Because I can use the bombs for something. And the energy. Okay. That's good. So I can refill now. With one more. Specifically for YouTube. I had a bit of a OS reinstall snafu where I lost my save. And I replayed the game around 5 or 6 times in order to replay all the actions that I did in the manner that I did them on stream. And just yesterday in the afternoon, I stream every Sundays. Just yesterday in the afternoon, I got to a spot which is virtually identical as far as resources go. They're down. As far as resources go, as far as where the overall state of the world is, as far as upgrades, everything. So back to where we were last week, and last week from your perspective, it's probably a cut only. So we are back to where we just cut from. Anyway, let's get into the game proper. A bit low on energy. That was one of the changes. Don't have to address that. Still energy and now starving, yeah. Okay, so let's address the energy first. Supplies. Yeah, buy a meal. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Narraskip's barman Botan has a tip about a recovery contract for fugitives. He'll give you the coordinates. Okay. Rig's blown its propulsion. I'm stranded on some godforsaken rock. Repair crew needed. We'll split hull. No time wasters or thieves. I'm armed. Sure. Let's buy that. And can we expand on anything? Yeah, we have the Flotsam Explorer. I guess that's only risky. Nice. The chaos of Flotsam intrigues you. Passage to passage, it is the most incoherent place you have ever visited. Plating, cladding, cushioning of all kinds of conditions hides a forest of wires and ducts, interfacing in ways their manufacturers would never dream possible. Rooms are crushed cargo bays, flipped bridges, and eviscerated engine rooms. Patchwork corridors are lumpen with massive welds, bending worryingly along their length. It is, to put it nicely, a total mess. It's not that you don't like it, but finding an Artificer among this chaos has been more than a little challenging. This cycle, searching these winding passages once more, seeing only scrap merchants and junk shops, you have begun to wonder if Serafin had any idea what he was talking about when he advised you to come here. The sleeper. The voice cuts through the pungent air. Well, I never. Beyond me. You glance in the voice's direction and find yourself looking at a small booth piled with tech. Behind a fogged and scratched plastic screen is a meticulously arranged counter, the only clear spot in sight. At it, an older man with wet and wandering eyes sits neatly. Where's the booth? Jean-Mi tilts his head. I didn't mean to be rude. Please. And he bows a little. That's okay. He smiles warmly, almost bowing again. His hunched shoulders accentuating the movement. How... He pauses, taking care with his speech now. How are you feeling, sleeper? He beckons you a little closer. I'm Jean-Michel. Jean-Michel? Jean-Michel, probably. I'm Jean-Michel. Though please, to you, Jean-Mi. I work with machines. He sweeps a hand above his counter, where you see configuration of tiny parts. Mostly small ones. He smiles. I'm not great. Of course. He chops with his hand to indicate a stool with a leg bar, meant for perching beside his counter, and such is the clarity and persuasiveness of his movements that you obligingly sit. Your presence is a rare honor here. He smiles and looks down into his lap. I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable. I'm just very pleased to see you. Can I help you with something? I was more imagining if I could help you. I can see your journey to me has not been easy, he says with genuine concern. You track his eyes across your body, noticing the scuff marks on your thick, vinyl-like skin, the replaced and broken parts of your body, the marks of violence. You pull your jacket a little tighter. Jean-Mi folds his hands one over the other and places them on the counter. I do not know what your experiences have been, but I want to assure you that I see you as a person, being a soul, shall we say, as valid as any other. You look at Jean-Mi, his own age and wear also evident. A life of precise and careful work shaping his body into a reflection of his process. You note his unconfident way of speaking, which betrays a certain loneliness, a lack of practice. It is his turn to feel observed. I understand. You are kind. The frankness of the remark takes you by surprise. He looks down at his counter and begins to take apart a tiny piece of machinery that sits there. Many years ago, when I began my apprenticeship, I would find that whenever I saw something that, how to say, was not working well, I was fixated on it and its repair. He tinkers with the parts, twisting them precisely. Of course, the belt is filled with this kind of dysfunctional detail. And so I was busy for many years, these small fixings. He smiles in reminiscence. But now, I find that when I am interested in a thing that is not working as it should, he sharply twists one of the parts between his fingers. It is because it might have some quality not yet foreseen or discovered. He releases the altered object into the air, where it ballistically twists in a hypnotic display, like a spinning top whose movements are totally unpredictable. Jean-Mi smiles at you watching his hypnotic toy. I can see that you are in a process of becoming Sleeper. He catches the spinning toy between a finger and thumb. Let me aid you in this. What do you mean? Jean-Mi's precise hands drop to a device around his neck. He deftly pulls a pair of goggles up to his face, masking his wet eyes. Hold still, Sleeper. Something flickers inside the goggles, their face blank. Jean-Mi's hands play across buttons and switches on the exterior, tuning, focusing. Nothing work. When the goggles are finally lowered, they reveal a look of concern on Jean-Mi's face. I think you better come inside. He kicks off from his desk and disappears. A moment later, you hear a rattle and a small bulkhead door beside the booth that you had assumed was rusted shut creaks open. Jean-Mi beckons you inside. Jean-Mi's workshop is even more cramped than you expected. As you enter, you are surrounded on all sides with netting holding bundles and bundles of terminals, servers, drives, and cables. At its center, a padded seat, and a set of articulated arms mounted with sensors and tools fill the space. The seat, please. Jean-Mi gestures at it with a polite smile. Sit. You tentatively settle on the seat, slipping your arms and feet into the straps meant to keep you from floating out of it in 0G. Jean-Mi floats beside you. He looks across your body. There is damage here. See that? We will get to that. But I see something else here as well. This is why you came. He looks at you solemnly. Yes. Though I have never met a sleeper, I have studied them. I was lucky to acquire some materials from SNARP some time ago, in the interest of my own endeavors. He begins arranging a series of sensors around you on articulated arms. You are pleasingly distinct from those materials. His eyes flash with excitement. Am I right in thinking you have been modified? Why do you ask? You are physically modified, not externally, but internally. carefully positions the final sensor. Your tracker is disabled, which makes it impossible for SNR to find you. Congratulations. Smiles broadly. But this is not all. You have been modified, yes. But you are also being modified as we speak. You feel a strange claustrophobia at Jean-Mi's statement. Modified? Serafin rebooted your system, ran the recording protocol, but that shouldn't have physically changed you. It only removed your planned obsolescence. How? Jean-Mi goes to a terminal and flicks a switch. Through the back of the translucent screen you see a nodal web in the vague shape of a sitting body. Your body. These changes appear to be complex, subtle, but consistent. Jean-Mi goes silent as he taps at the terminal, the representation of your body rotating and unfolding in unsettling motions. How is it happening? How is a good question, squints. How? I'm unsure of. See here? He points at the flickering representation of your spine, tracing a line towards your head. Your nervous system is growing additional nodal points here. Meanwhile, your emulation interface is growing an umbilical axis port. Though towards what end? Unsure. You instinctively reach back and touch your base of your head. As you do, the scan flickers and screeches with noise. You feel for something there growing under your thick vinyl skin. Can you feel a lump, or is that just your imagination? You pick at it. Jean-Mi sighs and shuts off the terminal. The changes are partial and, in all honesty, gesture sharply at the sensors. The resolution is too poor. I need to run a full diagnostic, but for that I would need... Drifts over to another terminal and brings up screens and screens of text and diagram. Yes, some kind of medium to hold your suspended emulation. The access jack I can build myself, but you will need to breach your emulation. Jean-Mi speaks quietly, almost to himself. Ship mine would be ideal for this. It would have to be high capacity, a prime ship mine, Solheim in origin. Perhaps Hylian Gate might hold records of any deathware in the system. He taps at the terminal. Jean-Mi turns back to you. Yes. The prime ship mine is essential if you wish further investigations to be done. I will need this above all. He thumbs the terminal off. I'm sorry to say, Sleeper. I'm going to need a minute. Of course. Jean-Mi busies himself with taking down the sensors and folding away the articulated arms. As he does, you try to calm yourself. You feel as if you have worms under your skin, and it takes all your focus, not to pick at its seams. Jean-Mi suddenly, but gently places a hand on yours. Please, remain calm. Puts a carefully restored rare component in your hand. This can help you. Jean-Mi waits for you to fall still. Then he leans back a little, relieving some of the strange intimacy of the moment. For now, our work is concluded. He meshes his fingers again and bows with a small head bob. You are welcome, anytime. Thank you. Of course. His manner seems to have returned to something more businesslike, a humble man who knows his customers' needs. You get up from the seat, a little dazed, and push away into the passage. Safe travels, Sleeper, Jean-Mi says quietly, placing the promised list in your hand as he lets you back into the station. You leave dazed, unsure of how you feel about the instance of this man's particular kindness, but most of all haunted by the idea of unseen processes that are running within you. Part of you does not wish to know anything further, to leave this place and never look back, and another is desperate to immediately retrieve every object on this list so that you may know what strangeness is happening within you. For now, you must steady yourself and find a way to continue. Serafin comes to find you in your bunk. After Jean-Mi's assessment, you find yourself drifting back to the rig, in need of the familiarity and comfort of your own ship. Sleeper drifts in you. You found an Artificer? He hovers by the door, looking concerned. Explain. You tell him about Jean-Mi, how he offered your repairs and ran an assessment of your frame. He described the cramped booth, the articulated arms, the strangeness of seeing your own body anatomized upon the terminal screen. Then you tell him that your body is changing, growing in ways Jean-Mi cannot identify, that some process has been started, and you do not know where it will end. You mention umbilical ports and nodal points, trying your best to remember the details of the things Jean-Mi asked you to retrieve. Serafin grows pale, silent. He shakes his head when you stop talking. Lane. Frowns. That piece of shit has to be behind this. We don't know that. I know it's Sleeper. Dark look crosses his face. I'm sure of it. We'll get what you need. We'll find that chip mine, he nods. A bit of work here and there, and we can make it to Hylian Gate and wherever else. What about your stuff? We'll do that too. Thumbs the wall. We're free, Sleeper. No one can stop us. Say the word, okay? Goes quiet. Don't give up on yourself just yet. Miles. Get up. Get back to it. And with that, he turns and kicks off down the corridor, disappearing from sight. You wait a little while, staring at the stained ceiling of the bunks, letting the thoughts settle in your mind. And then, when you are ready, you get up and leave. Dazed, but with a stony determination growing in your chest. Okay.